marked as Defendant's Exhibit S. What is this that you can hand
So this is a publication from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. It's Morbidity and Mortality Report. It's titled Outbreak of SARS-CoV-2 Infections, including COVID-19 vaccine breakthrough infections, associated with large public gatherings, Barnstable County, Massachusetts, July 2021.
Doctor, do you recognize this document?
I do.
Doctor, how do you recognize this document?
I read it.
Your Honor, I ask that this exhibit be taken in full.
At this point, I'm trying not to proceed too much to move along here, but I have to object. I don't know what the relevance is. This was a study of the outbreak in Provincetown amongst adult, mostly homosexual men who had mostly been vaccinated, and apparently there was an outbreak of COVID even though they were vaccinated. What possible relevance does that have to math your kids in school and all that?
That's exactly the relevance, Your Honor. Vaccinated people can still spread it. Having people who are unvaccinated wearing masks helps prevent that spread. That's the whole point of these proceedings, is what steps are necessary to help protect the children. And if you're vaccinated and you can spread it, then we need to have masks on for children so that the unvaccinated children, those under 12, can't spread it. And it also affects the children's age group from 12 to 18, 53% who are vaccinated but can still spread the disease in an academic setting, causing community spread.
Before putting the article in as a full exhibit and having its conclusion already as in full evidence, when we build this, any expert opinion, through testimony first and then with the exhibit in full at the end, testimony should be next.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, but the ambulance or police car did not hear that.
The court reserves, I'm making it full. Why don't you just build this testimony and then we can go back to whether it should be full.
Doctor, with respect to Exhibit S, can you please explain, Doctor, put Exhibit S down, please. Doctor?
I have it.
I know you can't look at it right now, it's not involved.
Oh, I can't look at it.
So please look again, thank you. Doctor, with respect to Exhibit S regarding the outbreak of COVID-19 in Barnstable County, can you please tell us why that information was relevant to you in your position as a public health official?
Yes. So it was relevant. This actually made the news. It was,
That was, you asked a question, and that's when we have a question.
Yes, this is the answer.
Doctor, you could explain.
yeah, so this made the news. It was a big story. Because after this article came out and got published, the director of the Center for Disease Control and Prevention made a change in recommendation, which was that even fully vaccinated people should be wearing masks. It was kind of a dramatic study because in Barnstable County, they actually had almost no cases of COVID right before July 3rd. So they were very low prevalence. I think there was maybe 3 cases the week before. They actually saw this escalate quite a bit though, like 469 cases over a 2-week period. And if I recall correctly, about 79% were in fully vaccinated people. And I think 5 people I recall were admitted to the hospital. 4 of them were fully vaccinated. So this was a study that got everyone's attention, and that's why it made the national news.
Doctor, with respect to this study regarding mostly the vaccinated population in Massachusetts, can you offer an opinion to a reasonable degree of medical certainty based upon your training, education, and experience as to why the information in this article, Exhibit S, is relevant to a masking mandate in a K-12 setting? Can you offer an opinion with respect to that?
Yes.
What is that opinion, Doctor?
So prior to this study, the recommendation was that fully vaccinated people did not need to wear a mask indoors. After this study, and because of this study, where fully vaccinated people were at these large indoor gatherings and outdoor gatherings, and so many got infected, since the Center for Disease Control and Prevention made a change based on this study that fully vaccinated people should be wearing a mask indoors, it was a very telling study because we know that some of the students who go to schools aged 12 to 18, 53% of them are vaccinated. Yet having them wear a mask still is in line with the CDC recommendations.
still spread COVID-19.
Yes.
Can you please explain what the conclusion is with respect to whether or not a vaccinated person can still spread COVID-19?
I think that's, I'm going to object to the last answer.
And that's over. You can-
Yes, vaccinated people can spread COVID-19. It was something they looked at in the study. One of the things they pointed out is the cycle thresholds for people who were vaccinated and had COVID-19, people who were unvaccinated with COVID-19, their cycle threshold numbers weren't different.
Doctor, how does this study specifically connect with the masking mandate in the K-12 setting?
So one of the questions that we had to consider was, should we let students who are fully vaccinated not wear masks in school? That was a question we needed to answer. But when you look at this study, it's hard to make that recommendation because in this situation, what you see is vaccinated people who are unmasked are spreading COVID-19. So it therefore makes sense that fully vaccinated students should still wear face masks because we don't have herd immunity yet.
Your Honor, I ask that Exhibit S be moved in full now.
Judge, I'm confused. We went through so much testimony about why it's important to get people vaccinated. Because kids are not vaccinated, they present a greater risk, and that's why we're masking. Now, we're saying vaccinations don't matter for spreading COVID, so are we just throwing out all that prior evidence, that testimony from this expert, that unvaccinated, the reason you are masking kids in school is because they're unvaccinated? He just contradicted his own, all of his prior testimony. So pick a lane. Are we going to introduce S, and throw everything else out, or keep everything else out and throw it S? I don't understand.
Your Honor, COVID-19 is
The world which Dr. McDonald and the governor has lived in for a few years has changed often. And here what it has, this Exhibit S shows a change in the way the CDC is going to treat masking. The doctor just testified that the relevance is the masking protocol changed by the CDC as a result of this. He also showed how it influenced him in coming to conclusions concerning masking, all of which are subject to cross-examination. I'm not saying it's logical or appropriate, I'm just saying it's relevant. So therefore, Exhibit S is relevant, and S is full, subject to cross-examination.
Thank you, Your
Yes.
Doctor, I just want to give Exhibit S back to you, Melissa. Doctor, prior to the study that was done with respect to Exhibit S, did you have an opinion to a reasonable degree of medical certainty as to whether or not a vaccinated individual should be wearing a mask to help prevent the spread of COVID-19?
Yes,
What was that opinion prior to the study?
that fully vaccinated people did not need to wear masks.
Then the study came out, Exhibit S. And when the study came out with Exhibit S, what was learned from that study with respect to vaccinated people and wearing masks?
What was clear is we're not at herd immunity, not by a long shot. And what you see is when you put in that study, 79% of the people who were infected were vaccinated. That's clearly not enough to have herd immunity. What you saw was when you put these folks in large indoor gatherings and large outdoor gatherings, they still spread the virus from one person to the other. And keep in mind, they largely did better because they were vaccinated, so they had better health outcomes. Yet what it demonstrates, though, is that the Delta virus is very contagious, very easy for someone to get infected, and very easy for even a fully vaccinated individual to spread from themselves to someone else who could be unvaccinated or fully vaccinated.
So, Doctor, can you walk me into a reasonable degree of medical certainty on your training, education, and experience as to what the point of getting a vaccine is if you can still spread the disease while fully vaccinated?
Yes.
What is that opinion, Doctor?
So vaccine,
Your Honor, I'm going to object. I mean, we're not here on whether or not there should be a vaccine mandate. That's case for another day, in another context of health care workers. We're here about masking. So whether or not he has an opinion about whether vaccines work or how well they work is really irrelevant, I think, in this case.
Your Honor, if I may, it's completely relevant because what we're looking at here is a new emerging disease with Delta. Initially, the CDC, the APA, and the doctors under the opinion that, hey, once we get vaccinated, we're going to be okay. But now with Delta came, it changed the landscape. And so that is why being vaccinated and wearing a mask is key. And you also have 53% of the school-age population, 12 and older, being vaccinated. So it goes to why someone who is vaccinated in that age group still must wear a mask in an academic setting, which is the exact point of this hearing. If I could offer a piece of proof, Your Honor, the doctor would testify.
I'm trying to take what you gave me as well. But you continue.
Dr. McDonald will testify, Your Honor, that the vaccine helps prevent people from getting really, really sick. It's similar to the flu vaccine. You get it, you can still get the flu, but you're not going to get it as badly. It's a similar concept. And so that's why vaccines and masking go together in an academic setting, which is why we're here.
But, Your Honor, I thought the question was whether we have an opinion as to whether or not, why is it so a good idea to get the vaccine? Okay? We don't get the sick.
Actually, I'd like to question like that, sorry.
Question. So, doctor, can you offer an opinion to a reasonable degree of medical certainty, based upon your training, education, and experience, as to what the point of getting the vaccine is if you can still spread the disease while fully vaccinated?
The objection sustained.
Dr. You testified earlier that approximately 53% of the K through 12, those over the age of 12, in the K through 12 setting, are fully vaccinated.
Yes.
Doctor, based upon your training, education, and experience, can you offer an opinion to a reasonable degree of medical certainty as to whether or not students in the K through 12 setting over the age of 12 who are vaccinated can still spread COVID-19?
Yes.
What is that opinion, doctor?
They can still spread COVID-19.
Doctor, how do you know that children in K through 12 setting over the age of 12 who are vaccinated can still spread COVID-19?
Because the vaccine's really good at protecting people from dying and really good at ending up in the hospital. It's good at preventing that. It's also very good at preventing people from getting disease, but it's not 100%. No vaccine is. And we know that when people get infected with SARS-CoV-2, they're contagious and they can spread it from one person to the other. So therefore, we know that students who are fully vaccinated could spread from themselves to someone else.
I'm going to move to strike. The answer was why he thinks vaccines are good, which was just objected to and sustained. The question was whether children who are vaccinated in school can still spread COVID. His answer doesn't match up with the question. He tried to answer the previous question about why vaccines are a good idea. The simple question was, can children ages 12 to 17 or 18 in school who are vaccinated still spread